And for the Economonologue CD launch day, I wanted to do an epic Economonologue, and so I've chosen the Odyssey as this.
The Odyssey.
Yes.
Is that
Homer's Odyssey?
Homer's Odyssey. Now, of course. Yes.
When light
No,
flashed
different Homer.
before their eyes.
Yes, that's the Homer said beer. Is there anything it can't do? That's a different Homer.
I love beer.
So the Odyssey follows Odysseus' long journey home from the fall of Troy. And I know you're thinking about the football game between the University of Florida and Troy State. That
Sure.
56-6. No,
Sure. That's not it?
different fall of Troy. The Trojan War was much closer. The point spread was only 7. But the gamblers were still pissed because the Greeks won, but they didn't cover. Now, his name's Homer. What's with the one name for these guys? You got your Aristotle, your Socrates, your Plato, your Homer. Because back then, the vanity plates had to be carved into rock.
Right.
One name.
That's a lot easier. Cheaper.
Going by one name should be reserved for deities like Buddha and Jesus and Bono.
Yeah. Amen.
The big ones.
Madonna. Elvis.
Yeah. Share.
Now, the Trojan War was 10 years, which is really embarrassing because after 4 months in, Odysseus posed in front of a rock that said, "Mission accomplished."
Bang, zoom, Costaki, socialist, boom.
And then it took him 10 years to get back from the war. 10 years. I get pissed when my flight's an hour late. What was he on, Greyhound?
Wow.
Get a Garmin. What's going on? Now, his wife Penelope was holding out for him. For 20 years, she believed he was going to come home, right?
Right.
I feel like if I go to Atlantic City for longer than a week, Caroline's going to move on to the next thing.
I agree.
Just ask Christy.
I agree.
Christy was 3 days in Louisville and he was dumped.
Yeah,
Yep,
right.
that's right.
That's right.
Clothes on the porch.
Yep.
True love means never having to say you're sorry. You haven't been
hear about
home
that,
for
thanks.
7,000 days in a
That
row.
was 20 years ago.
Oh, he's still
I'm sorry.
right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
20 years, right. So the suitors moved in. 108 boisterous young men were living at Odysseus' house trying to convince his wife that he was dead and to marry one of them. 108 dudes. It's the original Bachelorette,
Man.
right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Odysseus left Troy finally, and he went to Ismarus. They sacked the town and divided up the booty fairly. That's some old language, right?
Yes.
It sounds like they tackled someone behind the line of scrimmage, and then everyone got laid.
Divide that booty.
Now, here's my favorite joke. Please love this one. Then the men landed on an island full of goats. It was an island. It was all goats.
All goats, all the time.
Bill Buckner was there. Scott Norwood. Steve Bartman. Leon Lett. It was goats everywhere.
Goats.
Come on.
24-hour
Steve
goats.
Bartman.
This was.
And Homer in the same story.
I did this joke in a club the other day, prepping for this particular morning, and there was a table full of English grandmothers. It was like I was speaking a different language.
Sure.
I'm like, Leon Lett? Anyone? No.
No.
So the island is home to the Cyclops, the one-eyed monster who lives in a cave. I also have a one-eyed monster who would like to live in a cave.
Oh, whoa.
Or at least visited a cave.
You visit a cave once in a while.
Just rub against a cave.
Yes. See a cave from a distance.
Just let me see the cave. Just show it to me.
Maybe not. Maybe not look at caves on the internet.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Cyclops is one eye, of course. You'd think Biclops would be 2 eyes. No, that's a one-eyed monster who goes both ways. The Biclops.
Okay.
Yes.
I got you.
Love at first sight, but with no depth perception. Now, if you're a Cyclops, you got to get your eye checked regularly. You know, and if you have really good vision, do you have 20? Is that
Yes.
Yes.
what's Cyclops?
Hello.
Yes.
If a Cyclops goes to lens crafters, can they make his monocle in about a half hour?
Sure.
These are all good questions.
They are.
These are questions. All right, so at one point, the gods gave Odysseus a bag of winds that would help him get home. But his men opened it prematurely, and the storm blew them further away. A big bag of wind. I didn't even know Dr. Phil was that old.
I'm with you there, pal.
Maybe the most famous part of this story, Scylla and Charybdis, right? Charybdis was a monster that caused the whirlpool, and then there was a scary monster, Scylla, and you had to pick which one to get closer to. It was like a narrow strait. Right? Scylla had 12 tentacle-like legs, a cat's tail, and 6 dog heads. But according to legend, she had a great personality.
That helps.
Yeah, come on. You'll like her.
Come on.
So Penelope finally agrees that Odysseus has died and she would have to marry one of the suitors. And she says, whoever can string Odysseus' mighty bow and shoot an arrow through 12 axe handles will get to marry her. Now, it's always such He-Man crap, right?
Yeah.
Like pull a sword from a stone, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah.
How do we nerds ever get the girl in these stories? They should have like a speed chess tournament to see who gets the girl. Or like a trivia contest of some kind.
Little Sudoku.
Right. Women always, right. Sudoku would be good. Women always say they want a guy with a good sense of humor. How about whoever writes the best Cyclops joke? How about, so none of the suitors could string the bow. Odysseus did it and shot through all the handles. He had come home at this point, and he was disguised as an old man. And then he and his son slaughtered all of the suitors with arrows and spears, and that's how the story ends. And frankly, I think that's how The Bachelorette should end.
Yeah.
I'd be for
I'm
that.
with you there.
Yes, the Odyssey.
The Odyssey.
From our Greek friend Costaki Economopoulos, his new album, a triple set. It's the Economonologue.